Hello, guys. This is Han-Jun from Active Circuitry, and this is our late night streaming. So, Han-Jun from Active Circuitry, uh, we are streaming this podcast to over 20 over social media platform around the world. So, if you are tuning in to this podcast, you can pen down your comments and your questions on the social media site that you are viewing this content on. 大家好，大家好，我是曾汉君。こんにちは。私の名前はハンジュンです。こんにちは、皆さん。よろしくお願いします。안녕하세요. Здравствуйте. 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 Меня зовут Hanjun. Как дела? Yeah, this is Hanjun. So now we had a little bit of administrative issues. So now that's why we are streaming a little bit late. And we are still very new to this streaming setup and we are refining a lot of things. So first of all, that is the streaming platforms that we are on. We are still learning how to hoping to effectively stream to more website, and we will be looking to investing into better audio equipment, because apparently audio equipment is very important to streaming. That's what we learned. We're still very new to this. We started this podcast like about 2 weeks ago. So now we are into like the fourth or the fifth episode, and we didn't know what to name this episode called. So we named it the cybersecurity parenting podcast. We didn't even have the N in between the cybersecurity and parenting. But anyway, this is it. So if there's anything that we might think of changing the name of the podcast, if you got any suggestion, please suggest to us. We're still very new to all these things. We might be investing into new video equipment as well, investing into new audio equipment. You know, there's so much investment that we need to do to keep this thing going on. And it's a live podcast, and basically it's a casual chit chat, and we'll just be going through. We don't really curate anything. We started off by curating some news, but we realized that actually the better way is to really just do some research on the spot with everyone. Как дела? Меня зовут Hanjun. Здравствуйте. To all my friends in Russia, we are streaming this to Russia, Middle East, the various parts of Asia, USA. こんにちは、皆さん。私の名前はハンジュンです。私はシンガポールです。So we're streaming to different websites. 大家好，我是汉君，新加坡人。So I hope that you guys will support us. Well, anyways, just not really sure what to. Let's go through this, since I need to keep myself updated on what's the latest for cybersecurity and this this parenting. So let me see how we can share the screen. Right. Hello, hi. Thank you for tuning in. No, but before I was actually going through this particular this news, and it's about this EU that is going to restrict the use of VPN VPN is a very big thing now in Europe and bordering to Russia, because there were some issues recently regarding Russia and AI vendors like Anthropics, uh, Gemini, at this Claude. So what happened between Gemini, Anthropics, Claude, and between Russia is that these three AI companies, they have restricted the use of AI services to Russian users, the Russian users. So what happens is that after these three AI company restricted usage of the service AI services, so a lot of Russian users and a lot of Russian companies, they were actually using AI to develop their product. And what happened was that the moment they restrict these services, apparently it destabilizes the company's operation and individual users programming as well. But luckily, a lot of these Russian developers, they are highly technical. That is why they're still able to sustain. They're still able to sustain their operation. But the thing is, right now, at the moment in Russia, there is very few companies that actually have that actually have their own AI models. So they still depend heavily on these US company. That is why they're facing a little bit of disruption right now. And how they are going about it is they are trying to use VPN to circumvent this restriction. So many of these Russian companies, they are using VPN and various other types of techniques that I've gone through in previous episode. So they are using various kind of techniques to circumvent the security check by these three companies. And so these three companies, they found out what the Russian users are doing. So they are countering with another set of practices and also developing their own internal block lists in order to block Russian users from leveraging their AI services. So there's a bit of hoo-ha about this. And Russian users, they are also trying to now circumvent what the AI service providers are doing right now. And and so a lot of these Russian users, they developers, what they do is that they have one of their techniques to circumventing the security model is to rely on VPN. And these VPN, apparently they assign a various range of IPs to IP addresses to their users. So when a Russian user uses a VPN, his IP changes from Russia to other countries. I won't go into the technical details because it's a very intense battle between these three companies and the Russian users right now. Then, so some of these Russian developers, when they use this VPNs, somehow or rather it might change their VPN, change their IP to IPs that is coming from Europe. So that might distort the signal to the Americans about exactly where does this IP come from, this user come from. Is it from uh, EU or is it from Russia? You know, a lot of people they cannot. There's a big difference between EU and Russia. I know it's very big, but some people they just cannot differentiate this kind of stuff. So what happened is that now, so that maybe that's why that EU is about to restrict the use of VPN. I don't know, but when I saw this, it was very stunning because EU is supposed to be EU is not supposed to be like this. So let's see. So there were claims that EU could restrict the use of VPN, and actually these rumors have spread widely online in recent weeks. And this has prompted concerns among users about digital freedom and online privacy. Okay, right. So what if the European Union banned VPN. So that question has circulated widely on social media in recent week, with some users warning of what they describe as a serious threat to digital freedoms and online privacy. But they say that this is based on a misunderstanding. The debate follows wider discussions around EU's new plan to strengthen online age verification systems that is aimed at protecting minors from harmful content. So this age verification system is another big issue around the world right now because recently Indonesia and some Malaysia countries in Southeast Asia, they are actually they are trying to restrict Roblox. You know, Roblox, the famous popular gaming platform that many young kids like to play. And in fact, not just young kids like to play Roblox, the older adults like to play Roblox as well. And the reason why that is so is because that you know this Roblox is just so popular nowadays. And right, hang on for a while. So Roblox is extremely popular, especially in with the younger kids and young adults. But the issue is that there were concerns that there are pedophiles that are preying on young children on the Roblox platform. So what Indonesia government did is that they wanted to ban the gaming platform. In Malaysia, that has a lot of users on Roblox as well, they were considering to ban the gaming platform. So what happened is that to counter this type of scenario, what Roblox did was that they require children, or rather accounts under 16 years old, to do face verification. That means if you have an account in Roblox and you stated that you are 16 years old and below, that means that you have to take a video selfie of yourself, and then you have to upload that to Roblox to let them see that you are really who you really are. But there are many issues surrounding this age verification in various parts of the world as well, because there are also news that claim that young children are starting to put on mustache on their face in order to circumvent this issue, which means that they're too young to access certain services. So these young children, they have decided that to put on a mustache to trick the system with high success rate. But in the case of Roblox, it is not preventing young children from faking themselves as older adults, but rather it is to prevent adults from faking as young children. Because in Roblox case, it is the case whereby they are trying to prevent adults from signing accounts on Roblox and claim that they're 16 years old and using that platform, using that account as a platform to groom young children, either for sexual purposes or to cheat them of their money. So Roblox came up with this face verification step. And what happened was that it was a big hoo-ha as well, because now people are concerned about how Roblox is treating these kind of video selfies. Because if you store videos of young children on video selfie, it is actually there are a lot of privacy policies surrounding this kind of issue. This kind of issue is actually more um, well regulated in EU, European Union, but it's not so in other parts of the world. But I'll say that this Southeast Asia, Indonesia and Malaysia, they have stepped up on their game because well, they do have the bargaining power because a lot of they have a lot of users on Roblox, on this Indonesia and Malaysia have a lot of bargaining power because they have a lot of young players. So these are the things that are going on right now. So that is why, maybe that's why there's a wider discussion about new EU plans to strengthen online age verification. So what I'm working on right now is something called a homomorphic system, and it's based on a set of advanced algorithm that doesn't really require you to do face verification. It doesn't require you to provide data about your age, but however, it actually relies on the usage of your phone, and from your habits, the homomorphic system is supposed to determine as roughly your age, like what age should you be. So it doesn't you don't so that you don't reveal, and if you use this homomorphic algorithm, you don't really reveal too much personal details to the developers, to the gaming platform, or whatever platform services that you're planning to use. And also, you don't have to store video selfies because when you store all this kind of personal information, it is a honey trap for regulators to come after you, because you're storing personal data, and everybody is going after the privacy of personal data as they're looking to strengthen this privacy law around the world. So what it says here, now let's go back to this article. So what it says here is that VPN stands for this virtual private network. Okay, hang on for a while. Yeah, so VPN stands for this virtual private network, and apparently like to a lot of people they like to a lot of people like to use this use VPN. It's very common around the world. It is a private Here says that it is a privacy security tool that hides a user's IP address and routes their internet traffic through an encrypted tunnel. And people often use them to pretend they are browsing from another country by choosing a server location different to their own. So if there is, like, not if the laws weren't so strict, if there's freedom of browsing or freedom of internet usage, there wouldn't be any demand for VPN services. So this VPN services, it allows people to access websites and services that are only available there. And why is EU claiming that the VPN will be banned? So they're saying that there's this European Parliamentary Research Service published a briefing on exploring how VPN can be used to circumvent online age verification system. And the EPRS report quickly fueled claims online as ERP is another system that is from Singapore. But anyway, this is the EPRS. Okay. So it fueled claims online that Russia was preparing to crack down on the tool, with some users pointing to references describing them as loopholes in verification systems. But they claim that this document does not represent the official EU policy. It's just a research briefing. And then in late April, the European Commission set out a plan to introduce a new EU wide age verification app by the end of 2026, aimed at protecting children from online harmful content such as pornographic websites. Verify age using official ID, passport. So there were a lot of exchanges between the journalists, and the parliament on the use of VPN, blah, blah, blah. But they came to the conclusion that no technology is foolproof, but that age verification tool was part of EU's effort to develop rules and safeguards for minors accessing content online. But as of now, at least the Finnish government confirmed that there was absolutely no crackdown on VPN. And the spokesperson for European Commission also stressed that the EU remain committed to maintaining a free and open internet while strengthening protection for minors online. The thing is that the more you try to ban all these kind of services, the the more it means the more you try to ban VPN, it's just causing another type of technology to evolve that enables people to escape age verification and so on. So when you go hard on this kind of technology, it causes another technology to evolve, and you will have a more difficult time to regulating that technology again. So it's always ongoing because these software developers and all these people, right, innovators, entrepreneurs, they will always have a way to circumvent all this thing. They always will have. So if I were part of the research team, I wouldn't want to ban VPN, but um, you know, we could work out a policy that regulates the use of VPN instead, to let people have a healthy usage of VPN. In fact, if let's say you have internet freedom, then there's no need for VPN at all, right? So these are the things that is very messy right now. So why are VPN being discussed? So age verification is one thing. The issue between Russia and EU is another thing, the one that I talked to you about. So there is the caution that uneven implementation of rules across EU member states could encourage younger users to rely on VPNs to bypass restrictions. And And the thing is that, this VPNs is actually a very dangerous tool, not in that it can let the younger users bypass um, websites, the checks to access restricted website, but in that there are a lot of hackers and scammers who invested in VPNs. So these are often found in all those free VPN services that you can download for free, and you can start using it for free. And the issue with all these free VPN services is that you don't even know where is your information being streamed to. And it could be streaming direct into the hackers or into the streamers servers at home or in their office. So if that is so, if you're using a free VPN, you could jolly well be you have given up all your information to that person, because all the password that you type, the websites that you visit, the keyloggers, what you have typed in your communication with others is all visible during the communication through these VPN servers. If it happens to be owned by a hacker. So this is the concerning part. And even if you buy a VPN service, you need to know where exactly is it going to where is it streaming to. And you also need to know, there are a lot of um, companies that sell VPN services, and some of these companies, they don't own these VPNs. What they do is they are selling, they are like third parties, they are like the middleman. So what they do is they sell you VPN services that they bought from someone else at a price, then they charge you a higher price for use of their VPN. So these companies, they're middlemen, they're brokers, something like a broker, and they don't even know, the technical details of exactly where the VPN servers are, and the encryption that's required for the VPN or this kind of stuff. So if you talk to them, usually it's just someone who's unaware of VPNs, the technical details of VPN services, and that's very dangerous. That is why when you buy VPN, free VPN is definitely a no go. It's very dangerous. If you rely on your company's VPN, that's a no go as well, because your company's IT team will have access to exactly what you are surfing. So therefore, when you are working from home and you are using the VPN, you have to use a VPN to connect to the company server. And when that happens, the IT team will have absolutely full access to what the traffic that is traveling between your computer and the company central network. That is why, and this is also the reason why I say that working from home is actually better from a security perspective. But I'll talk about that another time. So the thing is, the best is to invest in a VPN, a paid one, and you better be sure that they are really the VPN provider. They know exactly what's happening and where the data is being streamed to, and they have a strict privacy policy. Because sometimes it's just people are using VPN not just to do criminal stuff. The regulators always think that that the private sector is always up to no good. um that is not so. That's not true. A lot of the people in the private sector, they're just there to survive. They're just trying to set up a business to earn a living. They're not trying to do criminal stuff. A lot of them are like this. But the problem is the regulators, the policymakers, they always think that, especially if they've never worked in the private sector before, they always imagine that the private sector is up to no good. So that's the issue. If you stay in the public sector for too long, you always have this imagination that the private sector is up to no good. They are trafficking. But a lot of the private sector, they're just mom and pops shops, solo entrepreneurs who are really trying to survive and trying to feed their family, trying to feed themselves. I know about that because I was previously in the law enforcement and I was with the government service for quite some time, and I interact with a lot of this high level policymaker. I know exactly what they're thinking about, and that's the issue because you have stayed too long in the public sector that you're no longer thinking, and the views have been regurgitated over and over and repeated again, that you think that you're thinking, but actually you are regurgitating the view of someone else who have thought about it, who really did some critical thinking, came to a conclusion and shared that view with everybody. And however that view becomes institutionalized, and everybody repeats the same view over and over again. And when you talk to this type of person, right, you know that they've been in the echo chamber for a long time, and they think that they are thinking. They think that they're thinking on the spot, but no, they are not thinking on the spot. They are seriously regurgitating from an established view that perhaps came from long time ago, that maybe needs some revision. That is why it's very important to talk to people from all types of environment, and you need to expose to yourself to all types of people. Otherwise you'll be stuck in the echo chamber. But then again, the same thing goes for the private sector as well. So if you are in the private sector for too long and you actually become afraid of the public sector, you don't dare to cooperate with them, which is the wrong view as well, because you can be stuck in an echo chamber in the private sector. So for this thing, right? Let's get back to this article. For this thing, they really have to talk to each other. There's a lot of viewpoints that must be shared between the policymaker and the private sector to come to a conclusion. So they say that UK is often cited as an example under this Online Safety Act, which began rolling out in 2025, and certain platforms are required to verify a person's age to prevent children from accessing harmful content. And if the aftermath of the law coming online, VPN apps quickly rose in popularity to try and override the checks. according to media reports, with one provider reporting a sharp spike in downloads. Now, France is seeing the same thing as well. They have introduced stricter age verification requirement in 2025. Pornhub's parent company blocked access in protest, prompting a surge in VPN use as some users sought ways to bypass the restrictions. Oh my gosh. So, however, some VPN providers say safeguards are already in place. NordVPN told Euronews that paid services typically restrict access to minors by requiring a valid payment method, creating a barrier without parental involvement. Yeah, that's true. Like if you buy applications on Google Play, you got to have a MasterCard. But I mean, you got to have a credit card to process the payment. And you wouldn't even have a credit card, access to a credit card, unless you have a stable income. And in addition to that, a lot of the arrangement is made in such a way that if you want to buy an application on Google Play, you actually have to seek approval from your parents. So they have to approve it before you can really buy it. So there are a lot of safety checks. In fact, we have to give a lot of credit to Google Play. There's a lot of rumors about Google Play hosting like harmful content, apps that have malwares and so on. Actually, not so. If you are a software developer that is working with Google Play, you know how strict their stringent their checks are. Google Play's checks, the requirements are very strict. You have to go through so many questionnaires, and it tests you on so many things. Like if you are about when you submit your app to Google Play, what they do is that they check through your entire app, maybe through AI, because they check through very fast. They get back to you very fast. And let's say if you are let's say you are a gaming platform, all right? So you submitted a game app to Google Play, and within this app, you requested that for microphone access, which means that as you play the game, this app will be able to listen to your conversations. And Google Play won't allow that. They will get back to you and they will ask you, why do you need to listen to use the microphone um, function when you are just a video game, just an Android game? So you got to reply to Google with the suitable answer, and you also need to post a video explaining explaining why is that microphone function needed when you're just a game. So you need to demonstrate, when you're playing the game and the avatar actually speaks to you and you speak to him, something like that. And if you cannot prove it, then Google Play won't approve your application. It's very strict. There's so many checks, so many policy checks, and you have to. And in addition to that, Google Play actually checks according to every single country, every single region's policy, in order to ensure you pass all these policies. You pass the policy in the countries that you want to sell or open your application to. So it's very strict. So, but the issue is that a lot of these apps are very dangerous. They host malwares, very malicious application within the application itself. So when you download it, hackers will be able to look at you through your camera. They will be able to listen to you on the microphone. And the reason why this is happening is that a lot of people are side loading apps from dubious website. Let me just give you an example. Like for example, if there's a game, maybe let's say it's just any game, all right? I don't know the exact name of any games, but let's say it's just a game and there are a lot of locked assets and locked stages that you have to unlock by paying. All right. So what you have when you download this game, you can only play the basic game, but once you pay, you can unlock a lot of stages. So this is what is happening on Google Play. If you get the app, you have to pay for it. If you download the app from Google Play, but if you download this app from another dubious platform, And what they're offering is a cracked application, a cracked game, whereby you have access to all the digital assets. You have access to all the stages, all without paying. And all you have to do is to download that particular application from that dubious website. But it's free. You love this game so much and you have access to all the games. It's cracked. Okay, cracked means that uh, you have access to all the stages without paying a single cent, and that is so good, right? So you're enticed by this. You go and download this game, but what you are unaware of is that the malware, the virus, and all the malicious application is embedded in that game. So if you download that game, you are sacrificing. You may be opening up yourself to those kind of attacks, and that's how cybersecurity attacks can happen. So this is just one example. There are many other examples as well because hackers and scammers, they are masters of technical skills. They have extreme mastery of technical skill. But one thing that they have that is even better than their mastery of technical skill is their understanding of human behavior. So they understand what you need, how you can be trapped. So they understand this very well. They understand social engineering very well. And the problem here is that that's the problem between a highly technical hacker and a software developer. Okay. The software developer can be very technical too, equally competent as the highly technical hacker. They both have the same high level technical skills. But a software developer, however, however good they are in their skill, most of them they could be very good in their relationship management and understanding of human behavior. But however, the hackers, they often have higher attributes in these areas as compared to the software developer. Okay. Hackers, they know humans more. They understand human behavior more than a typical software developer. Because the hacker is a very unique kind of profile. They are very highly skilled and they are very emotionally, they have very high EQ. They have very high EQ, very high IQ, and they are very action oriented. And the best hacker personality is, I would say most of them are very competitive. So that's all I have to say. So they are always checking you out, and if you have already compromised all these functions, then it's very dangerous. It's just very dangerous. Just don't download all this crack software. It's so dangerous. Now, so that's it for this article. Let's see if there's any other interesting things. Let's go to RIA Novosti. RIA Novosti is the Russian official newspaper for Russia. Let's see if there's any interesting news that I can share with you guys. It's just going through all this news. I don't really have anything curated. Let's look at what they is if there's any development in science. Science. Science, science. Science is so important. You see, that's the thing about Russia. You have so many technically competent people who are really well versed in advanced science and technology and engineering, but they are not really into developing their own AI model. It is all about it is all about space technology. They are very into space technology. Let's go to sports. Sports. Whoa. Interesting. No. Let's stick to what science. I'm very drawn to sports. I like basketball. I like football. I love American football. So good. It keeps you so pumped up. It makes you so excited. Exactly the same for basketball. So good. You know, they're so into space technology. They have the technical capability to develop their AI model, and yet they don't do it. Okay, let's go and see this uh, Chinese television channel. Let's see if there's any new developments in China. Let's see videos. Videos are more interesting. Nope. Nothing interesting. This is about what? This is about China's energy development and a nobody zone. What's a nobody zone? Let's see what it is. All right, thank you for tuning in. We're streaming this website to more than 20 over social media sites around the world, Russia, Middle East, all over the places. We're just trying to connect to people who are concerned about cybersecurity, about their privacy, about parenting, how cybersecurity issue will affect young children, their young children themselves. So, 안녕하세요. Здравствуйте. Меня зовут Han-Jun. Добрый день. Добрый день. Konnichiwa minasan. Han-Jun desu. Watashi wa Singapore jin desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. 大家好，我是汉军。Great to see you guys. Great to see you guys. We're streaming this to over 20 plus social media websites. And it's a very new podcast. We're still learning the ropes. All right, it's loaded. Let's see what it is. Let me just enlarge this so that you can see the bigger picture of it. All right, let's see.
国际能源署造了一个新城，10万亿度。
Do I have to turn up the volume? I wonder if this works. Give you a greater volume, louder, so that you can hear what they're saying.
2、3、4的加起来还没有我们多。在15里头有一个最新的提法，叫能源强国。中国就要率性迈入能源技术的无人区。
So China is trying to develop their energy sector, and I don't know what is this nobody zone.
电力系统呢，的确是一个很传统的行业，到现在呢已经经历了100多年的发展。而我们现在所讲新型电力系统，第一个呢就是说会有更多的风电呐、光伏这样的可再生能源。第二个，电力系统的运行的技术特点有更多的变化，叫做高度电力电子化、高比例新能源、高比例电力电子化。就成了我们新型电力系统2个重要的技术特征。最大的变化呢是电源，它是靠天吃饭的，波动性很强，你就得靠别的电源去补，甚至说我没有别的电源去补的时候，
So they're trying to develop alternative energy.
这样呢就形成了远网合储一体化的一个思路。最核心的目标是为了解决新能源的消拉问题，解决我们整个转型发展技术托底的问题。全球统计下来，终端能源消费当中，电力消费的占比其实已经达到了18%左右， 而中国更高，已经占到26%了。国家呢在15纲要里头提出未来的6大产业，本身就把未来的
They have a new plan for China,
6大产业。
and they're going to focus on
别的产业之间的关系呢，也是深度耦合的。AI 的尽头是电力，它是一个电力消费量很大的用户。为什么又讲说能源或者说电力的未来是 AI 呢？电力能源行业作为一个发展的上百年的传统，如果说有了 AI 的加持，那么我们可以发挥出来更大的力量。国际能源署就在上个月刚发了一个报告，它指出来一个新的趋势，就是说我们的计算效率在提升。AI 的发展不会说导致把电都用光了，搞 AI 的人也在努力，做电力的人也在努力。AI 来带动能源产业发展，能源产业去带动其他产业发展，最后呢，大家共同进步。目前看到的 AI 的发展，主要好像都是美国和中国在讲这个事情啊。但从未来来看，它一定是一个全面化。从全球的数据中心的建设来看，主体是在美国和中国。但是呢，包括欧洲、包括日本，甚至包括印度，也在花很大的力气建设数据中心。大家都在想做，只是说做的程度快与慢、多与少的问题。严格来讲呢，中国近15年关于能源的表述呢，它其实体现了很深刻的一个技术脉络。从最早呢，2014年国家提能源革命，4个革命加一个国际合作的表述，现在来看仍然是不过时的。这就决定了我们10多年以来国家能源发展的一个基调，就是要做变革。而且这种变革不是以前那种渐变式的改革，它是一种革命。第一个就是要用新能源去取代化石能源，解决大家越来越迫切的气候变化问题。第二个呢，整个的运作机制、技术体系要换掉，所以说才有了联网合成一体化。从能源革命开始，到新型电力系统，到新型能源体系，再到我们现在提的，在15里头有一个最新的提法叫能源强国。那么仔细的你把这些词串到一块呢，其实就代表了能源板块的一个战略性的思考，以及说怎么样到行业落地的一个过程。只要国家的方向定死了，行业奔着这个方向去做，它的技术效能发挥出来，其实最终取得的效果一定是超过预期的。现在在15提出能源强国的概念，既然叫强国，那一定是跟别的国家比要具有优势。在24年底，我们中国的发电量突破了10万亿，排名第2的美国，还有欧洲、印度等等，2、3、4加起来还没有很多，这个数据已经足够强了。所以说呢，我们说要从一个做大规模到做强规模，这就是我们实施能源强国一个很重要的目标导向。我们形象的讲，“十四五”呢，一只脚跨在传统能源体，一只脚跨在新能源体。到15，我们希望我们跨在旧能源体那一只脚也要收过来，共同迈入新的能源体系。
they want to reduce reliance on the old energy industries.
其实往往我们还会看另外一个指标，就是人均的总电量。而你真正要做到能源强国，那就不是说某一个数据你是世界第一，而应该是做到绝大部分技术指标数据都要做到世界前列。电力你要成为整个社会的一个驱动力。如果说放到15这一个时间尺度来看的话，真正首先要放大的还是几个上千亿级产业的这种成熟技术，包括风电啊、光伏啊、储能。其实呢，光伏行业呢，大家都知道，它经历过产能过剩的历史的故事。一个很重要的原因是我们没有完整的掌握整个光伏的技术链和定价权。最终导致被别人一掐脖子，整个产业链就完蛋断裂。那么我们现在呢，又提出来要继续发展光伏。那基于什么样的逻辑呢？现在的光伏技术已经不再是10年前的光伏技术。我们在效率的提升方面，我们本身产能以及产业的这种掌控在全球的定价权等等，已经跟10年前不是同日而语的状态。欧美国家呢也在琢磨是不是要换道超车，不是叫弯道超车，因为它要换条赛道， 再跟中国来 PK。
PK，
我们现在陆上风电的基础经典的就是2兆瓦到6兆瓦，而未来我们希望做到海上10兆瓦，甚至说主力基础到20兆瓦以上。这个技术其实跟原来相比，不是一个简单说成了一个1.5或者成了1.2，它可能整个技术体系会有变化。另外一个呢，智能电网其实还是一个最大的赛道。实际上，智能电网的升级换代相关的输变电设备的升级换代，仍然是一个1000亿级，甚至说大几千亿级的产业赛道。它也是我们15期间能源电力行业一个重要的一领域。我们认为呢，氢能技术未来再过3、5年，它一定会得到一定程度的应用。再过10年、8年，那有可能它就跟我们现在常规的行业一样去的。所以说，我们就证明了跑，它这个船反而开不稳，反而是要有几个压舱。
Wow, the video is too long. So the thing is, that China has a plan to become this energy transforming into an energy resilient China. But where is the thing about 无人区？
我们其实还有跟国外学习和借鉴的一个过程，也就我们有这个底气，我们可以比他做得更好。我们当学生的时候，学的都是火电厂，讲的是发输配用这样的一个工业体系，但现在谈的风电、光伏这种技术的进步，它的革新性往往会出乎我们意料的。我能源技术的无人区，我们要当带头大哥去闯一条新路，这也是一种值得自豪的事情。
Okay, so now they are talking about this nobody zone.
这个无人区呢，几个特点：第一个，高精尖的这个技术；第二个，真正把它变成一种产业体系；第三个呢，对能源技术。
It's the focus of what
我们当学生的时候，学的都是火电厂，往往会出乎我们意料。
Let's read about it.
我们中国的效应，它不光是一个我们实实在在
So they are
做出来
going
的
to
产业，
develop this
让人去
non-human
现
zone,
在他们也在 follow 了，也在
and
跟
it's
我
going
们
to
走
be they're going to be
15
pioneering
甚
in
至到
this
16。对能源技
direction.
术而言，可能中国就要
And
率先
they
迈
want
入
to be the
能源
first,
技
so
术
that
的
other
无
people
人
will
区。
follow. 无人区
我
non-human
们要
zone.
当带
They
头大
want to be
哥
the
去
first
闯一
in
条
this,
新路，这也是
to
一
make
种
a
值得自
breakthrough
豪
in
的事
this.
情。我
And
们
it's
走
going
在
to
了
be a
世界
very
的
prideful
最
thing for
前
them.
端了。这个无人区呢，几个特点：第一个，高精尖。
So it's going to be a highly scientific zone, a zone that actually houses a lot of highly scientific
第二
industries.
个，真正把它变成一种产业体系。第三
And
个，
you're going to build it into an industrial ecosystem.
我们还要辐射出去。未来我们真正要带动全球从这种
And
油
from there, they're going to spread it to the rest of the world.
气时代迈入到电气时代。它不光是我们中国，它实际上是一个全球的一个带动过程。我们率先进入到这个门儿，那么带着大家一块进入到这个门儿，那是全社会的进步，全人类的。
And that if they are able to create this non-human zone that is fully powered by alternative energy, like solar energy and wind energy, plus it powers the future industries. So once that happens, they will promote the services and products of this non-human zone to the rest of the world and spearheading the rest of the world in this matter and benefiting the world using the products and services that comes out from this non-human zone.
的进步，所以从这个角度来讲，我们中国人做出的这个社会贡献、全球的贡献，那是值得我们自豪和赞誉。
Yep, that's the summary about this non-human zone. It's the new direction that will come from establishing the energy resilient China. Energy resiliency is a very big thing right now, all around the world, and trying to establish this energy resilient China and use it as a strong foundation to propel their research into non-human zone. And this non-human zone is fully powered by alternative energy, and it houses all the cutting edge scientific industries. And the product from these will be spread throughout the world, and they will hope to benefit the world with the new technology that is coming out from this non-human zone. I don't have a better term for it, but as of now, the direct translation is called non-human zone. Okay, non-human. There's basically no human in this industrial zone. Is self-powered by alternative energy and perhaps staffed by robotics, and it's going to host the most scientific industry in the world, and it's going to produce very cutting edge technology, all powered by alternative energy. And this zone is all fully powered by robotics and alternative energy. So after establishing the energy resilient energy resilient China plan, they will move on to establishing this non-human zone. And after the establishment of the non-human zone, they will use it and they'll spread the products and services from this non-human zone to the rest of the world, because the ultimate aim they claim is to benefit everybody around the world with their non-human zone. That's the best I can get from this video. It's not exactly called non-human zone. I cannot get a better word from it. Or maybe I should call it humanoid zone or something. I don't know. But as of now, this is what I get from this video. That is their upcoming plan: energy resilient China, the foundation, establishment of the non-human zone, and after that, use the products and services of non-human zone will spread throughout the rest of the world, benefiting the rest of the world. So that's basically what's happening right now in China. Well, I've gone through what's happening in Europe. I've gone through what happened in Russia. And now let's further go through what's happening in China. Right, this podcast is now go through this website, okay? And see if there's any interesting things to share with you guys. Okay, this podcast is newly established. We are streaming to 20 over podcasts. My name is Han-Jun. Nice to meet you guys. 大家好，我是Han-Jun。안녕하세요。私の名前、こんにちは、皆さん。私の名前はHan-Junです。シンガポール人です。よろしくお願いします。Здравствуйте. Меня зовут Han-Jun. Как дела? Как дела? Right. So, this is something that is very interesting. The 20. Oh, no, no, no. What's this? Let's look at it. Let's see what else is happening in China. I don't care about things that is happening in Silicon Valley, because they are basically in an echo chamber by themselves, copying each other's idea. They are lacking a lot of ideas right now. They're desperately copying each other's idea and trying to grab ideas from all over the world. They're talking too much among themselves. A lot of my friends in Silicon Valley, they're basically repeating the same stuff over and over again. That's why we have to read widely. We have to know what's happening in the rest of the world. Everybody is progressing so fast, they're advancing so fast, and people in Silicon Valley continue to think that they're the best, keep repeating the same stuff. It's like the B grade students all hanging out with each other, and then the A grade students have already propelled themselves forward. It's so dangerous. Oh, this is the AI store in Shanghai, featuring 500 plus AI products. So many cutting edge products: healthcare, Google, glasses, and so on, AI bags. I've already gone through that yesterday. There's nothing new. Let's see if there's anything new in artificial intelligence. Oh, this is interesting. They're talking about the replacement of human workers in AI. So they are also very worried about AI replacing humans. Oh, no, no, no. This is from Wall Street. I don't want to read anything from Wall Street. I already we know we know so much about USA. But the thing is, the world is not just about USA. There's so many things happening in Middle East. There's so many things happening in Russia, Europe, Southeast Asia, and Southeast Asia is advancing so fast. I've already shared, Indonesia and Malaysia. They're advancing so fast. They're transforming so rapidly. What's this? Let me reduce the CPU processing power. Okay. Let's see. Hey, what's that? Okay, let's see. Oh, it's a video, right? Let me try to expand this. Wow, it's a 9 minutes video. That's a lot. Let's just quickly browse through what they're talking about. Shoot. Okay, this is a video. This is a very interesting video. Wow, it's 25 minutes. Let's just skip it. No way am I going to read through the 25 minutes. Latest from Europe. Just in. Norway defense moved to cancel missile system sales following criticism from Malaysia. Yeah, so this is a thing as well. Malaysia, I read some news about Malaysians wanting to buy missiles from Norway, but the deal was cancelled. What exactly happened? Norway's foreign ministry said exports of some of Oslo's most sensitive defense technologies would be limited to its allies and closest partners. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's what they are saying. Now I get it. Okay, so what happens is that, okay, regarding this incident, it's very sensitive. What's happening is that Norway's foreign ministry, they have defended a decision to revoke export licenses linked to a naval missile system for Malaysia after Kuala Lumpur warned that the move could impact confidence in European defense suppliers. Apparently, now European defense suppliers don't care about this, and that is why they they are doing this. Okay, so the move had blocked delivery of naval strike missile systems, as well as launcher components that had been destined for Malaysia's combat ship program under the term of 2018 deal, and the purchase had been planned as part of Southeast Asian nations, that is part of the Malaysians' wider naval modernization efforts. So the Norwegian ministry said that it greatly values its relationship with Malaysia, increased oversight on defense technology, and that exports of some of its most sensitive homegrown products would be limited to its closest partners and allies. My gosh. It's crazy. This the world is becoming crazy. I'm telling you, there's so many things going on right now. It's so dangerous. Now let's further explore what exactly they are saying. Let's see. So they are saying that the purchase have been planned as part of Southeast Asian nation Malaysia's wider naval modernization effort. And Norwegian replied that their most sensitive homegrown products will be limited to its allies and closest partners. Malaysian Prime Minister had warned earlier this week that the decision could reduce confidence in European defense suppliers and may hurt Malaysia's operational readiness. Contracts are not confident to be scattered in capricious manner, Anwar said. If European defense suppliers reserve the right to renegotiate with impunity, their value as strategic partners flies out of the window. Malaysia has honored every obligation under this contract since 2018. Malaysia agreed the deal for NSM anti-ship missile system with Norway's Kongsberg Defence and Aerospace in 2018. And they said that Malaysia had already paid around 95% of the contract in 2018. But now Norway has decided to back out because of security reason. They're reserving their most sensitive technology to their allies and partners. According to Kongsberg, the NSM is a subsonic missile that can be used to strike targets on both sea and land. And the missile also has sea skimming capabilities and is equipped with autonomous target recognition, the company said. My gosh. Things are getting hot. Greece has cheap green energy in abundance. So why are electricity bills so high? Yeah, why exactly? Let's see. Solar energy producers have called for a halt to new renewable projects as battery storage lags behind a growing oversupply. So Greece are spending billions importing oil and gas every year, and they are dreaming of becoming an energy exporter, and it will continue to stay as a dream. So that's what they say on the news article. But they say that because of green energy, it is going to change that and make the dream, they're going to realize that dream. So now Greece has about 45% of its electricity coming from renewables, and roughly 20% of what it produces is exported. So they're exporting to Italy and to a lesser extent to the neighboring Balkan countries. But the momentum has hit a ceiling. Renewable capacity now far outstrips domestic demand, and Greece is curtailing significant amount of green power simply because there aren't enough buyers. Exports aren't picking up the slack either, as neighboring countries are producing their own cheap green energy. So everyone is producing green energy. Everybody is trying to be energy resilient. So one of the insider, they say that they should stop further expansion. We already have too much. We already have too much. We already have too much energy. My gosh. So the person is from the Association of Photovoltaic Energy Producers. So they already have too much photovoltaic energy. Wow, that's really good. That's good news. So in 2026, producers' income will be about 40% lower than last year. due to demand constraint and near zero wholesale prices. Renewable energy offers stability and low prices for consumers, but there are limits, and it is not for us to go beyond what the technology can offer. So the thing is, why is cheap energy generation doesn't mean lower bills? And they say that this isn't unique to Greece. In fact, it's happening across the entire Europe. So across Europe, this wholesale price of renewable energy is falling steadily, but the household bills aren't following suit. And many producers are facing questions about long-term viability, and the disconnect comes down to how electricity markets are structured. Prices across most European markets are set by the last and most expensive unit needed to meet demand. Okay, so it's known as marginal pricing. So the prices is set by the last and most expensive unit needed to meet the demand, and that unit is frequently a gas plant. With natural gas remaining expensive and prices spiking further after the closure of the Straits of Hormuz, that dynamics is keeping consumer bills high even as green energy gets cheaper to produce. So Brussels is taking note. The European Commission is now examining four pressure points on energy bills: the wholesale cost of electricity, network and infrastructure charges, taxes, levies, regulated charges such as capacity mechanism and balancing causes. The green transition is not without its problem. They are facing a lot of problems. Is Even though it's cheaper to produce, but the pricing wise is based on marginal pricing, which is why it's still very expensive. The pricing is based on the most expensive unit, so it's very cheap to produce, but it's based on the highest price. That's why household is paying a lot of money to to consume electricity. And they say the batteries are coming. One solution gaining traction is storage. If surplus solar and wind power can be held and released when generation dip, so they're trying to use battery to modulate the demand and the supply of renewable energy. If that happens, if they have the access, they have better uh, batteries technology, then consumers they will be able to get access to cheaper electricity around the clock. So Greece expects battery storage unit with a combined capacity of around 900 megawatt to be operational by the first quarter of 2027. And the cost has fallen sharply over in recent years, helping unlock a pipeline of new projects through market players, though market players caution that the technology is still maturing. So, oh, so we're still in the very early phase of battery technology. I'm not very familiar with battery technology, but I do know that battery that relies on lithium is very dangerous because the supply of lithium is limited, and as of now, I think China has control of most of the lithium supply. It's not really US, but that is up to them to solve. It's not our issue. Well, I'm just trying to toggle through the screen to see what's the best configuration to display. As you know, I'm still very new to this, and we're still learning how to best display, learning the best audio setup, learning the best video setup, and of course the administration part that is to stream to 20 over social media website. So it can get a bit overwhelming at times, especially for a newbie like us who is basically we have no media like no experience in this kind of media production, and things are like really, really very, everything is new to us. We're just trying to learn through all these things. It's very interesting. Okay, let's finish this. So thing is about battery, and costs have fallen sharply in recent years, helping to unlock a pipeline of new projects, though market players caution that the technology is still maturing. So what they say is that the accelerated rollout of storage will increase the availability of cheap renewable energy in the grid and ultimately reduce costs for the end consumer. Wow, it's very interesting to learn about all these issues. And this has a lot of impact as well because energy infrastructure is a very sensitive topic for a lot of country, because if you disrupt the energy supply of a country, and it will actually serve to destabilize the entire country, which is why you need to have strong cybersecurity protection for the energy sector. But now, even more so, because you have the battery component that is modulating between the energy supply and the energy demand, which means that once the battery technology is up, you need to have the modulating component that interacts with both supply and demand, which means that AI software, the software part of it is very important, because you need to allocate and reallocate the supply, and balance between the supply and the demand. And if you are able to hack into this kind of system, it becomes very dangerous, which is why now, as we move forward to becoming, all countries are becoming energy resilient. All countries are trying to turn to alternative energy, renewable energy, and all because of that, all countries are going into battery technology, and in the end, all countries will go into AI and cybersecurity. That is why all components of this ecosystem is extremely crucial to a well-functioning country. Right. This is a very new podcast. We just started like 2 weeks ago. So we're still very new to everything. We are streaming this podcast to 20 over social media sites around the world, covering Middle East, Russia, Europe, USA, U- uh, UK, Europe, Southeast Asia. So we are trying our best to reach out to as many people as possible. And we are learning the ropes of live streaming, this new media stuff, and see how best we can benefit as many people as possible. And very funny, we only just started streaming like just 2 weeks ago. And the thing is that we have already received requests from companies that they would like to have advertisement placement with us. And I think that is very funny. Like, this podcast is so new, and we are so new to all these things, like how best to stream, to produce the best quality stream with audio, with video, with the streaming setup. We're still learning all these things, and we're still learning, like, what's the best time to stream, what's the best format to stream. We're still learning from all the data that's coming in, but we have data coming in. So we are trying to optimize our streaming by adapting to the streaming format. Is very important about for this because the differences in the streaming format can actually impact your viewership, like whether is it portrait, is it landscape, and what kind of audio setup are you going to invest in? What kind of webcam are you investing in? Is it going to be a high quality webcam or not? So if you invest in a high quality webcam, your internet has to be high quality as well. So everything has to balance. So we're still learning the rope of all these things. And then amid of learning all these things, and we just started like 3 weeks ago, companies are asking that whether they can put placement onto our live streaming because they think that, I don't know how they see it, but they think that this live stream apparently is is going to be important to them. It will help them to improve their brand awareness. I'm so surprised about it. I just hope that, if it grows, so be it. I'll be very happy about it. We're trying our best to grow it. We're trying our best to curate news and create content that appeals to everybody. But it's very good that we're streaming because uh, what we learn is that the viewership throughout the stream is important, but it is not as important as the viewership after the stream, because after the stream, what happens on the social media platform is that they will normally host the recorded version of that stream in on the website for a certain amount of days, or as long as the company exists. So what happens that is very important because a lot of people actually watch all this after stream, and we noted that some of the sales that is being driven, that is happening during this period, is actually coming from these recorded stream as compared to the stream that is live. So the recorded stream is driving a lot more sales as compared to the live streaming sessions. And it's something new to us because we thought that live streaming is more important. You got to have a lot of viewership in order to drive a lot of sales. But no, all you have to do is just keep at the podcast, just talk, just provide the podcast, give value added services to the viewers. And after that, when the podcast ends, it will still continue to be aired on the whatever various social media platform that you're airing this on, and it will continue to drive sales. And there's win-win benefit as well because this social media platform, they are they need this kind of video stream. They need to have video stream in order to attract customers, to attract viewership. And the worst thing is if you are an ecosystem, you are a social media platform, and you don't have anyone streaming on your platform, you have no more fresh streams, no more fresh content, your social media site will just die off. I know this from experience, very deep experience in this. The most important thing is content, and it's not about AI content because AI, so many people, they are so sick of AI content and they can identify AI content at an instant. So they are craving for real human interaction, and this podcast, or like this kind of like video podcast, is extremely good at connecting with the viewers, with connecting to potential customers. It's just good for improving the awareness of whatever that you're doing, whatever that you are advocating for. So it's very important that we should continue. And in fact, if you have the opportunity to stream, to do a podcast, I encourage you to do so. But the thing is that you need to stream to the right social media platform. So some social media platform is actually good at handling portrait format, that is the smartphone format, and some social media site is really good at handling the landscape format. But no matter what, every social media site need to have all these content creator, otherwise they'll just die off slowly. And this content creator, you cannot say like, and when you're building an ecosystem, you need to draw as many people in as possible. There's no time to filter out all these people because there's a network effect. You need to draw as many people as possible because they will in turn draw as many viewers as possible. And those viewers may turn into content creators, and thus the cycle begins. And if you if you continue with this kind of assault, eventually the content streaming the streaming content will be very vibrant, and it grows, it's very prolific, and then your social media platform can grow. So I and that has a lot of implication down the line because you need so much new information to train your AI model, and whoever has the freshest, newest, latest stream is going to win in this game. And if you are just a social media company and you have no backup plan, you have no long term plan, and you are still like in a denial, trying to filter for the best kind of content on your social media site, you're just basically going to die in the long term. It's a very long game. It's all about getting content, whether or not you are AI model, you are a social media platform. It all has to come together in one single network. And I tell you that nothing beats real-time streaming because you can generate content from the robotic from the bots. You can generate content from AI models, but it's going to be so stale because now a lot of people they can actually understand, the moment they see your content, they know whether or not it's AI, and they're so sick of AI. I work with some of the children, so young, and they can identify AI content immediately. Whereas I'm still wondering whether or not are these AI content, or are they like real actors. I'm still considering between those two scenarios, whether or not is it AI or real. But the children, in an instant, they know that this is AI, and they just swipe it off. They just don't want to have any contact with AI stuff. They only want they only want interaction. They only want videos that are produced by real people, and that is the thing right now. That is why social media platforms that don't have any long-term plan is definitely going to die off. Social media platforms are now fighting to get content creators on their platform. And what they should be trying to do is to prevent AI slop from coming to their platform and trying to attract the content creators, building a strong, vibrant ecosystem that feeds on itself, and growing their AI model or whatever model that they're growing. You see, the thing about Euro News is they don't have much things on technology. It's really about, yeah, they have technology, but they're focusing on different things. The European Union is focusing on car technology, alternative energy, and they're facing a lot of issue in alternative energy because of the lack of progress in battery technology. So they don't have the battery technology. They can produce a lot of alternative energy very cheaply as well, but because of the lack of battery technology, they aren't able to provide these renewable energy, this alternative energy cheaply to the consumers and the household. Then on Russia, in Russia's side, they Russia is facing another problem. They don't focus on AI. They're focusing more on space technology. And they have been focusing on space technology for so long, so long. And then we covered China. China is so much ahead in AI and, like what I talk about, the non-human zone, the non-humanoid zone. they are going to build the non humanoid zone and use that to value add to the entire world. Three golden rules for scaling businesses, and that's coming from Europe. Partner content means that it's paid by someone else. And who is it paid by? It's paid by it's paid by whatever. The pros and cons of bootstrapping in business from Europe. The expression pulling yourself up by your bootstraps evolved to mean attempting to do something without outside help. So bootstrapping is the practice of building a business without outside capital investment. So it's financed by the owner's expense, limited finance, like all business type. Bootstrapping models are most likely to succeed. Most likely to succeed are those providing a product or service that solves a problem. Email marketing platform MailChimp is a prime example, self-funded and owned, founded in 2001, grew into a business 700 million pounds, euros. On the flip side, right investor can make useful mentors, providing valuable insight. Yes, definitely. If you have the right board of director, it's so good. They can open up new doors, they can give you new insights, and with their experience, they can help you to shortcut the entire bootstrapping experience, the entire business experience. The main advantage of bootstrapping is that you end up owning all of it, keeping all options open. If you take on investment later, you can. If you do that, you get better value than if you took investment earlier. So bootstrap, very important. Okay. I thought what they're going to say is nothing much. A lot of talking, a lot of words without saying anything. How Dubai's strategic location is serving startup partner content. How events and conferences help promote growth for startup. Is this coming from Europe? Now let's look at the rest. Yeah, Europe has a lot of emphasis on travel, culture, sustainability, almost none in cutting edge technology. Even though they do have technology, they do have cutting edge military technology that they have recently, in the case of Norwegian ministry, have refused to sell to complete the transaction that they have with Malaysia, citing that they will only sell sensitive technology to their partners, their allies. Even when Malaysia has already paid 95% for their military orders. Business, real economy. So what's real? Homes, training, and jobs. What's the reality of social Europe? How working abroad can kickstart careers for young needs in partnership. It means that Europe cannot provide any jobs. There's no jobs in Europe. They're trying to get people out. EU's unprecedented response to tumultuous times. New disability cuts facilitate cross-border travel. Let's look at this. I never liked using this Edge browser before, but somehow or other they have transformed in such a way that I decided that it's really good. When you go through the Edge browser, they have this news page, and it feels like you're reading a magazine. Trump says he set up problems other people wouldn't able to. Spain's political showdown nearly stopped the Hunter virus ship reaching don't know where. Talk Pal, learn languages fast. Let's see if there's any interesting news. Is Singapore just an illusion? Foreigner nurse to be questions reality of life in Singapore. A lot of countries don't like Singapore. I went to Dubai, it's different when you are a government official and if you're just a normal citizen. If you're a government official, nobody will say anything bad about you. Nobody will say anything bad in your face. But if you're visiting a place as a normal citizen, they'll say so many things. Oh my God, Singapore is so fake. The grasses and the trees are all fake. Everything is fake in Singapore. You have no natural forests. Everything is fake. Singapore does nothing but trade. It's just trading and trading. A nurse who is planning to move to Singapore shared an ideal post work routine on Reddit after moving to the country, hopping on the MRT. MRT is the Singapore tram system, the metro system, eating street food, people watching, hitting the gym or climbing, and drinking coffee all day. Okay. With this image in mind, the netizen painted a picture that Singapore is a place where lifestyle after working hours seems kind of chill and claimed that all the food is everywhere and everyone knows everyone. No, Singapore is a very small place, but not everyone knows everyone. But it's kind of true in a way. I mean, yeah. However, the netizen also admitted that this kind of lifestyle might turn out to be boring once the money runs dry and asked if this is all kind of an illusion. So netizens share their thoughts, attack here, attack there, blah blah blah, especially for nurse. Cost of living in the country is very high, and that even, the cost of living in the country is very high. But the thing is that Singapore allows for people who can study and people who study hard and get the results to allow them to rise in the society by giving them scholarships so that they can work in the government, and in exchange for a reasonable amount of money, for a reasonable amount of salary. Not too bad, reasonable, not too poor, but reasonable. But it's not unique to Singapore because other countries have this kind of thing as well. You can study hard for a post in the government agency. You have the same thing in Malaysia. You have the same thing in Indonesia. You have the same thing in China for thousands of years. You have the same thing in India. India for thousands of years. You can take an exam, and if you pass the exam, you can work in the government administration. But the thing is, um, if you were to compare the salary between India, China, and Indonesia, I would say that the salary of a government officer in Singapore is much higher compared to the rest of these countries. So if you're a person who only can study and you don't like to fight it out in the private sector, then I guess that going to Singapore is a safer path for you and your children. Because if you go to the private sector, there's going to be so many things going on: espionage, sales, and you got to make sure the revenue hits. And the jobs that is created in the private sector is totally different from the jobs in the public sector, because the public sector job is being funded by public funds. So if a country keeps on churning out a lot of public sector jobs, is actually draining the company, the country, is actually causing the country to shrink in the long term, and it has a lot of issues. You have to earn a lot of money to fund the jobs that are being created through this public sector avenue. But if you were to grow more private sector job, it's totally different because it's revenue driven, and it's more resilient because you don't have to, and its funding is stronger in a way that um, is funding based, is revenue driven. So is more sustainable, especially if you are creating the right jobs in the right sector. So it's to and fro, but you got to have a balance. I wouldn't say that public sector job is bad. I wouldn't say that private sector job is bad. Each has its own pros and cons, but it's just that you cannot overly generate too many public sector job. Otherwise, you will have a growing problem in funding all these people's salary. And the basis of their work is so different. I can go a lot about it, but I don't want to no longer care about all this. So the netizen and all right. So if you and the thing about if you can get a job in the Singapore's government service, the salary is definitely higher than what you can get in India, in China, in Indonesia. But there's another thing that you have to take note of. How much, what kind of quality of life can that salary afford you? So even though you have a much lower salary in India compared to Singapore, but what kind of quality of life does that salary afford you? Can you afford a car? Can you afford a house, sizable house? Can you afford, the other things, the lessons, enrichment lessons for your kids with that salary? So that's another consideration. So it's not just about having high salary. What does that number means in that particular economy? You can have a high salary and yet your standard of living is low. Your kids cannot go for ice skating classes, speech and drama classes, golf. You can't afford a car. It can be in that case. So the thing is that the cost of living in the country is very high, and that even though the food is relatively affordable, rent can be expensive. The netizen also added that climbing, the hobby that was listed, is an expensive one as well. And in the healthcare industry, working hours are too long. This does not sound like real life in Singapore at all, one netizen remarked. Moreover, a netizen was kind enough to comment on the experience of working as a nurse in Singapore and said, nursing in SG is extremely underpaid and overworked. You said that your current nursing job is boring and too easy. It depends on which hospital you're assigned to as well. It's the complete opposite for nursing in Singapore. Lots of burnout for locals. And to answer the poster's question whether all is just an illusion, a netizen commented, it's an illusion. You can have the same lifestyle in your home country too. You don't need to move to Singapore just to have it. The only reason you are having this romanticized version of what you perceive to be your potential daily life in Singapore is because of escapism fueled by unrealistic posts on social media. Working as a nurse in Singapore is a high demand field and it offers competitive pay compared to other Asian countries. However, experiences vary widely from one individual to another, especially depending on one's personal circumstances and expectation. Uh, this can go on for so long. This kind of argument is the same everywhere else. It's the same in Middle East. It's the same in China. It's the same in India. They have this same conversation everywhere in the world. It's not just in Singapore. It's everywhere. We can travel in time in a secret underground society. Iran eyes fees on Hormuz internet cables as new lever against the West. Yeah, my take on this Iran is if you push them too hard, they're going to go crazy. Somebody has to go in and calm Iran down. In Sun Tzu Bing Fa, you don't push someone to the corner, otherwise you are just causing more trouble to yourself. But these are for the policymakers, the military experts, and so on. They're paid enough to settle all these things. people in private sector is trying to compete for the survival of their business. They won't care until it hits them. The $1 million math problem looks obvious. This 1 billion telescope found something disturbing. He accidentally filmed his own death. Hundreds in Texas town saw a massive UFO, then radar backed them up. Oh, it looks so AI generated. No way. Agentic AI anomaly for cybersecurity. Now, this is a very new podcast that was released just a few weeks ago. We're still very new into this. We're streaming to over 20 plus websites, social media platform all around the world. 안녕하세요. konnichiwa minasan. Watashi wa namae wa Han-Jun desu. Singapore desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Здравствуйте, друг. Как дела? Меня зовут Han-Jun. 大家好，我是 Han-Jun from Singapore. Watch this camera break the rules of speed. Scientists claim dark matter may have created a wormhole inside Milky Way. What nonsense. Doesn't I heard a plan where no one can have more than 1 billion. Oh, people just like this. Where Antarctica may hide Nazi bases, UFO, they just love it. Americans love this kind of thing. In fact, Chinese in China are starting to pick up on UFOs as well. They start to love this. And they are starting to have shorts and videos about aliens. And the problem with this kind of content is that their version of their alien love to eat ramen, Chinese cuisine, and is very into Chinese culture. Whereas aliens in America is very into US culture, speaks English and so on. It's so weird, right? And the thing is, we've gone through the Russia's website, and there's so much into space technology, so deep into that, and yet they don't talk about aliens. The Russians are just very realistic people, very realistic and very practical people. Okay, so I think that's about it. There's nothing much to share. We've already gone on for about 2 hours plus. Yeah, for 2 hours. We used to stream for about 3 hours, and talking nonstop for 3 hours is really too long. And we are learning how to improve our streaming. We are going to invest in better audio equipment, going to invest in um, better this video cam, webcam, and we're going to invest in better equipment, and we're going to further stabilize our stream to the various social media platforms. So we try our best to improve everything, and we're learning how best to improve our streaming. So we're streaming to 20 plus social media websites in Russia, in US, in Europe, Middle East, Southeast Asia, different parts of Asia, East Asia, and we're trying to connect to as many people as possible who are interested in cybersecurity, technology, parenting, and how all these things the intersection of all these, and how it can affect you, your family, and your loved ones. So we're trying to improve ourselves along the way. And we started streaming for 3 hours, but now we're further reduced to 2 hours because it's so difficult to talk nonstop for 2, 3 hours. But we learned a lot. We learned that live streaming isn't the important thing. The important thing is the recording of the live stream, what happens after the live stream. So we learned that, if the live stream after it ends, it is being saved as a recorded version on different social media websites. And those recorded videos drive significant amount of sales for companies. It's very important because we are tracking the traffic, and those recorded videos are the ones that are driving the awareness of our brand, driving the awareness of the product, and it's always there. And that's why uh, we are starting to value this podcast. it's really starting to pay out. And if you are a business or company, I would highly suggest that you guys create your own podcast as well, because it's not just about live streaming and the viewership during the live streaming. It is what happens after that. I help create a monster. Paris Hilton, no. Paris Hilton, no. No Paris Hilton for me. Where are the quietest place on earth? No, forget about it. It's too quiet. Vegetarian animal feeding on flesh. Oh, no way. It's too boring. Talk Pal AI, learn languages. No, no language learning for me. They told me the year was 3,906. Americans love this. They just love UFO, aliens, and so on. Ancient lost city found at the bottom of Atlantic Ocean. Oh, forget about it. We just focus on what's happening right now in the cities. Neptune should be frozen and dead is dead. Well, Earth is going to die, so we should pay attention to Earth. Sublineal signal enough to end a war. No, no, no such thing. Found a hidden continent under Iceland. Iceland is nobody cares about Iceland. Changi voted the best airport in the world. No, everybody says they have the best airport. Everybody say they have the best passport. Japan says that they have the best passport. Greece says they have best passport. Everybody have their own version of their best in their newspaper site. So no, not interested in that. Everybody is trying to market that they are the best in certain area in their own newspapers, in their own television. If you watch, you know. Most country affected by gangs, forget about it. Scientists found giant stone structures, oh, forget about it. Can they find new energy sources? Kamikaze pilots who flew straight to death, oh, that was so long ago. Inventors who came to regret their inventions. Oh, what's this? Inventors who came to regret their inventions. What, nuclear bomb or what? Create technology, architecture. Click to read about all those who wish to keep their mouth closed. No, no clicking for me. I'm not clicking through all those things. It's too tiring. So, okay, just to recap, we have gone through Russia, what's happening in Russia. We've gone through, I talked to you about the VPN, I talked to you about the AI models in Russia and how the companies are being affected by the top AI models in USA. Talk about China. We talk about so much about China's the latest the technology advancement in China. Talk about what happened in Europe, especially about Norwegian and the Malaysia government. Even though Malaysia paid 95% of the deal, Norwegian is not going to supply because they are going to supply it to their allies. We talk about so much about Russia. We talk about so much about China. We talk about so much about happening in Europe. So that's basically about it. Let's check it out. Now it's 2 hours. All right. So that's it for today. And I hope to see you in the next stream. Thank you very much.